Okay, we'll go ahead and call the December 19, 2023 City Council meeting to order. Welcome everybody that's here and anybody that might be watching us on YouTube. Is that where we are? Okay, so welcome. I do want to recognize a special guest tonight, and that is the mayor of Mount Juliet, James Maness. Is a mighty good man. Hal, he's a Tennessee fan. And, yep, we got Vanderbilt in Georgia, and I just work this side of the table. But anyway, glad to have you here, and glad to have everybody here, and hope, let me go ahead and say now in case when we get done, sometimes we want to get out of here, but let me say Merry Christmas to everybody, and hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas and a healthy New Year. This should be our last meeting until 2024. If you'll bow with me, we'll have a word of prayer and then we'll get into our meeting. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for this day and for the opportunity to gather here once again. We're thankful that you've given us the opportunity to gather and that we're safe and can hopefully do the bidding and the will of the people of our community. We thank you for everyone that's in attendance. We thank you for our city council folks, our emergency service folks, and all those that work for us. We pray that you'll bless them during the holidays. We pray that all of us will keep in mind what the real reason for the season is. And while we enjoy the festivities and the presents and lots of good food, that we'll remember what this is all about. We ask now that you go with us and forgive us of our sins. Amen. All right, got a set of minutes from last time, November 21st. How do they look to you?
Great. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The minutes are approved. Public business portion of our meeting. Anyone here that would like to address us on, the law says any matter germane to items on the agenda, but you know how we've done it for years here. Anything you want to talk about, as long as it's clean and safe, we'll sure hear you. So, anybody? All right, I'll move on. I want to mention one thing right here. Randy Anderson sent me a Facebook message. I can't get used to all these different ways people communicate with you. Saturday night, I believe it was, and he and his wife, and I guess maybe his company, would like to use the gazebo Saturday from 1:30 to 3:30. They are going to prepare meals and pass them out to anybody in the community that wants one. We're going to come by and pick them up. And I told him I didn't think that would be a problem. I asked April to check with the chamber to make sure there wasn't any conflicting activity going on in town, and there's not. So with your, unless I hear any opposition, I'll advise Randy that he can do that, and he said for everybody to come by and eat. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I think that he's probably trying to serve some people that maybe may not get a good meal at Christmas. So Randy's done a lot for our community, and appreciate he and his family doing that for us. All right, John, did I have anybody on the big screen that wanted to talk? Okay, I guess no news is good news. First up tonight on our reports is police. So y'all are first in the queue tonight.
Just discussed about Mr. Anderson, I'd like to propose that maybe we put an officer there just to, we still have some gifts that we want to give out, maybe some families that are in need that would come and eat, that I just put an officer there that's not dedicated to patrol, just so that maybe if there's still a family or two that needs some things, that
Sure.
We could do that.
All right, that'd be good.
Any questions on the report?
All right. Yeah, it does look good. Color coded this time.
I like this new program.
Yeah, it's, we still got several big updates, which the updates are included in the Watson program. But some of the new ones going forward, 2024, we'll be able to get the things that you all wanted from the start, back to getting the mileage and this, that, and the other. So that's some things that I sent some schematics to him to program in there so that we can get it all and just print it just like that.
Looks good.
One thing, I know it's one car, not many miles on it.
That is accurate, sir.
I know, but what, I thought we was gonna kind of use them all three about the same.
Yeah, again, that's the one that, the Chief Laney drives when he comes in. We have been using it more when he's been out because he does have quite a bit of off time. So we put it in the parades but it has not been on patrol every day with the regular, like the white ones, because he has been working 5 days a week.
Other questions, comments? Or you want to talk about your?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on renewal of Axon body-worn camera equipment. We're currently in a contract with them through February 2024, and that's for our body cams and the storage. They wanted to start the renewal process early, which makes sense, get their numbers in for this year instead of next year, but they're going up $10,000 January 1. So what I would propose tonight would be that they've agreed, because it is in the middle of the budget year, to split the cost. It would be $17,000 a year. So really, it would be advancing $12,500 more than what we currently budget for, which is $4,500. And if they split the payments up, the burden for this fiscal year would be $8,500, which there are a couple different avenues to do that would not affect the budget if the city chose to do that, one being our drug fund. So, but it is a contract for, like I said, for our body cameras. It's not something that is optional that just helps. It's also what stores our evidence and controls the footage from our patrol cars and everything that goes with that. So with the renewal of the current contract, I put two things in there. It's called My 90. And My 90 is, without going into great detail, basically is when we leave your house, whoever the victim is or whatever would get a text for a survey that would go straight to them and come straight to me. So, somebody will tell you the truth behind a computer or say what they want, but at least I would have that value to input into that. And that would also be part of a grant that we can apply for community relations and community policing in 2024. So that doesn't mean we'll get it, but that is part, that you have to have a community program, and that My 90 is recognized as such. I have also applied for a SRT grant, which is a match grant, and from what they have said, it is, we will get it. It's a $15,000 grant, and then we put in $15,000. All that, which that is a lot, but still you're getting $15,000, and that would also could be applied to the cost of the Axon equipment, because Axon is partnered with the SRT program, so that, it gives some small police departments and large some funding available in a match grant. And from when I spoke with the grant folks and Axon, the grant is not just going forward. They could go back as far as last year and pay half of what we paid to Axon, and then next year pay half. So it's not something that's just contingent on just going forward. So those are some avenues. And so I guess what I'm really asking for is the $4,500 already budgeted money would be would increase $12,500 starting in 2025. I'm asking the city for this current budget for basically $4,000 more on top of the 45 that's already done, and then at the next budget, which would be July, we would vote. You could however we wanted to pay it, but that payment, the two payments that we pay, $117 for body-worn cameras, $14 for the in-car vehicles. They're both due in separate budget years. So you never have the blunt of 31,000 in the same budget year. So does that make sense? Like, you know, we'll pay one in January for 17, and in September after that would be a 14,000 due. They have deferred the payments for 2 years to help us because, you know, we don't have the budget, some people do. So our last 2 payments would either be due 26 and 27, or we could pay it. We've already paid 3 payments of 14,000. We could continue and pay it, or it can be deferred for 2 years. They also extended the warranty for 5 years on both for the vehicles. And, you know, that we will only have 2 payments left on that and still have 5 years worth of warranty. So I hope I've explained it correctly.
Questions, comments? Anybody? All right, what's the pleasure of the council on this? I better get up here where they can hear me.
If I understood you right, you're requesting that we amend the 23 budget year that we're in now for an additional $4,000 to get this renewal process started.
Well, actually, what I'm saying is there's money there that is
Right.
not budgeted that we could use for that, and it wouldn't affect the budget at all. And then in July, when we redid the new budget, you would factor in 8,500 and then 17,000 a year starting in January 2025.
I make a motion that we approve your request.
Let me say to you, this is actually it's a 5-year contract, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So we need your motion and second in my opinion, needs to include language that says, subject to available funding. Now, that always tickles me when the government puts that in there because the government has the taxing power and available funding's always there, but it's safe to put it in there, so I would ask you to include that.
I'll amend my motion to approve this through the 5-year contract, subject to future funding being available in the budget years to follow.
Okay, discussion, questions, comments? Hearing none, are you ready to vote? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. All right. You'll get me what I need to sign, I guess, or,
Yes, sir.
okay. All right. Thank you, Chief. Let's see, Dale Smith, our sewer contractor, would be next. Dale has given us a written report. You'll see on the first paragraph, there's been a break in the sewer line in the creek off of Commerce Avenue. He's got it here. It happened December 15th. What is today, the 19th? And we have somebody down there now repairing it, and Dale's in the creek with them. But this just calls even more attention to the fact that we've got to get this sewer project up and going. Because in the creek there, as you know, water comes in and bad stuff goes out when it ruptures. So Dale's down there now, and we'll have more on the sewer grant here in a minute. But other than that, I don't know of anything else to tell you. Dale brought this to my attention, I guess Friday morning, as soon as it. Did he? Okay. Yeah, I thought I'd let y'all know that, so. Anyway, if anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer them, but probably what I'll just do is refer you to Dale.
What is there any EPA repercussions on that?
Well, we hope minimal because of the fact they know we're about to, but I can't guarantee. But we've gotten on it quickly, and hopefully we've got that covered. All right, and there's Chief Hahn. He's last tonight, but the last shall be first in January. How about that?
All right, we had, last month, 19 calls in the city, 22 in the county, for a total of 41. Any questions on the report? The only other thing that I had was a recommendation to declare surplus of some old breeding equipment, or SCBA's. Those got replaced a couple years ago on a grant. and they've just been stored. We don't foresee any future use for them. So we were looking to get those surplus so that we could put them on gov deals or whatever avenue we needed to, and see if we could recover some from that. So,
There's no way we can use these. I mean, we don't need them, do we? We've got what we need.
In the new system that we got, everything is,
Everything was completely upgraded and renewed, and so the two systems aren't compatible, so.
Okay. All right, so we need to declare these surplus and allow you to put them on gov deals for,
Yes, sir.
just,
Need a motion for that?
we do.
I make a motion to take this apparatus for surplus so that you can get what you need to from gov deals.
Okay, we've got a motion and a couple of seconds,
All right.
discussion. I'm feeling pretty good about this passing. We got any discussion? All right, if not, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? It's unanimous. Chief, you want to tell them about, just briefly, your firehouse at the farmhouse
Yeah, we
deal?
had met there earlier this month, just a way to get out and speak with the community and answer any questions that they have and just enjoy some time. And we had a few come by and talk with us, and we talked a little bit of fire history and Watertown history, and a little about where we'd like to go in the future. So it was a success, and we had some kids come by and got some goodies, and we hope to continue that again next year as well.
Good, good. I got a chance to go by there and visit with these folks, and as y'all know, they're committed to what they do, and we appreciate them as volunteers, and they train hard, and I hope that they train and continue to train, and that we never have to use them.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I got one question for you along those same lines.
Yes, sir.
I know we had a recruiting class that started a couple months ago, I think.
Yes, sir.
now. What's our status on that? Where are we at?
They had just completed this past Saturday. It was their final day. We had 5 to pass, so our next step with that would be to complete a live burn with them. They would do a live fire training. That's something that the academy offers. In the past, we've also used Gallatin Fire Department's facility up there that has afforded us to be able to do that for free, as opposed to, $200 or so per person to send them to the academy. So that's been a blessing to be able to do that. So I hope that within the next couple months, we can get something set up for that to finish out their live burn portion for that. So that puts us right at 19, I believe. I'd have to look at the roster and do the count, but we're right there in the 20-member range, so.
I believe you and I talked 20 is kind of full.
It is.
Full staff.
And historically, that's kind of where we've stayed. Some will go, and then we'll have an influx of coming in, so we typically like to stay right within that range. And
Okay. Further questions or comments for the chief?
all right, that's all I've got, and I'll keep you all updated on the surplus and as we get that going.
Appreciate it, buddy. Have a good Christmas.
yes, you got to.
That goes to everybody that's spoken. We can't say that enough. Okay, let's get in some items of old business. Let's jump back to the sewer that I mentioned just a minute ago. Talked to Steve Jones with Water Management, and he is, first of all, the state has approved our plans. And so he is recommending that we advertise the project on December 27 and open bids at 10 o'clock on January 23rd. He says if you are okay with these dates, I will prepare the newspaper ads and finalize the dates in the bidding documents. We certainly need to get this up and running, so I have no problem recommending this to you.
Can you repeat those dates?
Yeah, December 27 for the advertisement and open bids at 10 a.m. on January 23rd. And I think that happens to be the week after we meet in January. So what we may need to do in January, and y'all remind me of this, we may need to recess that night so we can come back, and if the bids are where we want them, accept the low bid so he can go to work. But we've got to leave them open for a while, and certainly over the holidays, to add a few days there. So I'm gonna recommend to you that we approve those dates so I can get that back to Steve. Let me say one other thing. You're probably wondering about the plans, and I asked him to send us a copy of the plans that were approved by TDEC, and he is going to mail them this week, he said. So hopefully maybe next week when we reopen, if you want to come by and look at those plans, we'll probably have them spread out up there in the small conference room on the table. But I'm anxious to see them myself, because it's something that Kyle Stacy reminded me of earlier this afternoon. Where they work and what they do, repaving the area they work in will have some effect on what we do paving later in the summer. So, did I get a motion in a second on there? Or did I talk myself to death? Did I? Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the dates as provided by Steve Jones for the end of December, for the putting them out to bid, in the end of January for ending the bid period for the sewer project.
Is there a second to that motion? All right, discussion? All right, if not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, that's approved. Let me go next to the water grant application we made. That we just got that in last month, and I believe, and I don't have my notes in front of me, but I believe they said that wouldn't be announced until February. So we don't have anything to report on that. On the street paving, I sent you out the overall picture that Collier Engineering sent out. Not asking for anything on that tonight, because we don't need to start any street paving until we know two things. Number one, where they're going to be tearing up for sewer, so we can get that done. And second thing, how much money we can commit to it. So that's something we'll have to take a look at, a good hard look at. But that's all the information I have on this. Any questions on that? Don't let me get to going too fast. I don't get home much for supper, so when I get to one of these meetings, I'm ready to get out and go eat. So, I probably shouldn't say that. Let me update you on the turntable project, or the application for the grant that we applied for. I hope I've got it here with me. Yes, I do. We didn't get it, and we knew that last time we met, I believe. But we had what's called a debrief meeting with representative of the United States, of the Federal Railroad Administration, Sergio Coronado. He was in Massachusetts, and we teleconferenced with him in my office. Steve Smart, Jeff Joins joined us from Washington, D.C., and then John Jewell and myself. And I'll just update you on what Sergio told us. The Watertown Chrissy proposal was complete and satisfied the eligibility requirements. The Watertown proposal was a good fit for Chrissy. There are no other United States Department of Transportation programs that would be viable for our plans. I asked that question if there was something we were missing, and they said no. Our proposed scope of work was clearly stated and compatible with Chrissy goals: rail yard, turntable, rail line capacity, safety, and prospects for future commuter rail. Suggestions were offered to strengthen the narrative, for example, by stating even more clearly the connection of our proposal to Chrissy selection criteria. And finally, he suggested translating the benefit cost analysis into projected numbers about rail activity and safety. Then he concluded by letting us know that overall, the Watertown proposal was scored as a solid, viable, and fundable application, but did not make the funding cut because of the overall competition from a very large applicant pool, available funding, and geographic distribution. And if we decide to reapply, in the next cycle, we probably would not hear the outcome until the second quarter of 2025. You may have seen some of it on TV. They spent a lot of their money this time on a high-speed rail line in California and a high-speed rail line from California over to Las Vegas and back. So a great deal of that money went out there. I don't think it's been any secret that the Biden administration favors high-speed rail and railroad. We did get in Tennessee, we got our short line that comes through here received some funding to repair the bridge at Buffalo Valley. If you've ever noticed that old rusted bridge over there on the right-hand side of the interstate across from the Smith County rest area. That bridge is in very, very bad shape, and we got funded for that. And that was probably more on an emergency basis than anything. So that's an update, doesn't require any action or anything, but we are going to reconvene probably the first or second week of January and try to figure out an alternative and continue chasing the dollars, but running out of time. The project that we want to do this for, the steam engine coming out of Nashville, as I understand, it's going to be ready to go by the end of 2024. So we may be chasing a clock that we can't catch. We talked last time about replacement of the well pump in well number 1. That was done last week, and I have the bill here. I forget, what did we approve to spend? Not let,
10, not more than 15.
came in at $9,414.42. So we'll get that out and get that paid here probably Friday. So, but the work's been done. Had to do a lot of testing with it, still doing some testing because obviously when they changed that out, there's some things they had to do, and you got to make sure that it doesn't affect the water quality. So I'm told that we're okay on that. Any questions on that? Y'all did a good job of estimating that. Steve, you had asked me, I think last time, or somebody had, about the status of the park sign. I hadn't had a chance to work on that, and I apologize, but we'll get there. Let me move into some items of new business, if I could. You got your budget report there. We will be in 12 days at the halfway point of the fiscal year. That's usually when I try to take a hard look at where we are and whether we're living up to what our budget is or whether we need to make some changes. And then I try to look at it real hard again at the end of March, which is the end of the third quarter. But one thing that's before us tonight, we did a budget amendment last month to provide for Christmas bonuses for everybody. We went ahead and paid the Christmas bonuses, but now that I've done that, to keep me out of hock with the comptroller's office, y'all need to approve this on second and final reading. And don't make me sweat like you did last time. I looked around, nobody'd make a motion, James.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cal. Is there? All right. Any discussion on that? Nothing different about the money. It's the same thing as last time. All right, all in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? We've been advised by the auditor that our draft audit will be ready this Friday and will be in on time. They have to be submitted to the comptroller's office by the 31st. So hopefully we'll get a chance to see that Friday. And then we will have you a copy, hopefully for your January meeting, so you can look at it as well. Got two items here that are kind of tied together. The working group on the Three Forks Park ball fields. Jeff Tunks, Chief Enderlight, Steve Casey, myself. Who am I missing, Steve? Bob, how did I miss Bob? Bob Morgan and, yeah, middle school baseball coach. We met last Thursday briefly, kind of outlined the parameters of what we want to do. We want to make some light improvements. We want to bring some additional dirt in. We want to spruce our ball fields up. But I need to tell you tonight that Wilson Bank and Trust has offered to donate our scoreboards at a cost of $8,500, which means we will have new scoreboards. We will have the new controls. We just have to pay for the shipping and installation. The picture you have there is a little bit fancier scoreboard than what they're providing. What they will provide will just give the total score at the time of the game. It'll have the inning, and it'll say 5-3 or whatever, third inning. I wish I knew tonight, I don't know the answer, but I wish I knew how much more it would cost to get this scoreboard where it breaks it down by inning. I like that. I like the way it looks. Looks more like a baseball field. So, go ahead, yeah,
Will this fit all, the softball and the baseball?
both fields.
What about that back one? Do we even
Won't-
do a
won't
scoreboard
be.
back there? I didn't think
A
so.
lot of the games, we don't keep score back there, but
One of them does have three, I don't think they keep score.
I didn't think
we
so.
don't, but
I just want to make sure.
anyway, I think what I'd like to suggest tonight is that we accept the donation from Wilson Bank, and then let's see possibly how much more it would cost to do this scoreboard. And if it's not a great deal, I'll probably recommend that to you in January, and maybe we can put a little money with it. Now, if it doubles the cost or something, I probably won't do that, because we need lights, we need dirt. And I want to say this publicly for anybody that's out there. We have been, and I think I may have mentioned it last time, we have been concerned about the safety of our umpires, safety of the people here that watch the games. You know, when you go to a football game, I'm like everybody else. I get upset with the referees, but I'm 50 yards from them and I'm no danger to them. All I can do is holler. But over here, we got people that are close from here to the podium to these kids and umpires. And sometimes they get a little rowdy. And Chief Enderlight has met with us, and we have agreed, he has agreed, that we will have an officer on site every time we play a game. Not in the vicinity, not driving by, but on site. So hopefully we can get that back under control, because some of our parents have mentioned to me, and I'm sure they have you over the last few months, that they don't like that. They don't want to come over here and have their kids listen to somebody cuss at an umpire or whatever. And so we're going to try to clean that up and try to get our people back that should be playing ball here and not driving off somewhere else to play ball. So hopefully we can get that done. But I appreciate his and the police department's commitment to this. Hopefully just the presence of an officer enough that people will, you know, do what's right, act right. It's a shame that you have to have that to make them act right. But the other thing, what we talk about, safety protocols. There's some things we've got to do for our coaches to make sure that they know how to handle things. And the fire chief's got some folks that can teach that. Jeff's got some folks. I think he's qualified as well. But one of the doctors at Vanderbilt has told us he'd come up and hold an hour or 2 hour training for us for the coaches. So. But anyway, again, I talk too much, but I want y'all to have information. So when you go out of here and somebody asks you about it, I hope you have the information you need. But I'll entertain a motion that we accept this donation from Wilson Bank and Trust. You do understand it's going to have their name on it. And as far as I told them, I don't care if you pay for it, you know. as long as it's clean.
On the officer duty and the training and all that, is that just for the baseball, softball? Or can we get that for basketball and football events? And if soccer, if we end up getting that going? Because even basketball, I mean, some
Yeah.
of these parents are just,
Well, Jeff
that
discussed
conduct
that with me
themselves well.
Saturday. We had a little issue. Yes, we can. My immediate thrust is baseball and softball will be up quick, but shortly thereafter will be soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I think you were gonna say something, Chief.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is, we're doing it now, because we have had some problems. And also, I train all my guys are CPR certified, I have these never to get while I'm medically trained as well to teach it. And I've done it for all my folks, so every officer dedicated one for Saturday to, just to go back and forth between the three, that's dedicated for that. There was an issue, it was handled. So it does make a difference because, it doesn't get out of control, especially if we're right there.
Yep.
Yes, I'm already supplying somebody.
And I would like, because, if you're down at the elementary school and Mr. Tunks is down at the elementary school, I wish that at least at one gym, somebody was CPR certified at every single gym. Whether it be your daughter, she's stationed at the big gym and somebody stationed at the little, just for those emergency situations. Because I know y'all rotate, and Mr. Tunks, I know you rotate. You can't be everywhere at once, although I think there's about 100 of you, Mr. Tunks.
He does a pretty good job of spreading himself out, doesn't he?
If that's just a goal, I know it's not gonna happen right now, but I would like to see that to be a goal.
I just bought 3 first aid, a little bit bigger first aid kits to have
Good,
on site at each
great, thank you.
gym, so we'll have those as well.
I know we had an incident in one of the gyms, and I wasn't in that gym, but the gym I've been in the last 3 Saturdays, we've had a pretty good turnout, and we've had pretty good people there. And I call them kids, of course, at my age, everybody's a kid. But the kids that are doing the umpiring have done, or the refereeing have done a pretty good job. And it's a good program, and we need to stabilize it. Not that it's unstable, that's the wrong word. We need to strengthen it. And so I think we can do that. All right, I think I still need a motion to accept that donation, I believe.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, I'll advise Kurt Baker, and he's the one that sent me this information. Some informational items. Our next meeting will be January 16th at 6 o'clock. That's the day after Martin Luther King Day. I want to mention something and then come back to something that may require some action, and that is the Watertown High School drama folks are putting on this historic walk or whatever it is. The night of the storm, where the tornadoes were tearing up a large part of Middle Tennessee, my wife and I went to their performance over here. An outstanding, talented group of people, young people. I mean, and they were portraying historical characters. Now, some of us, like Hal Roberts and myself, will remember them all because we're getting a little long in the tooth. But for folks that are new here, or maybe, and I say new, that's a broad subject. And for our young people, they're going to have a walking tour around the square. The way I understand it, you take your phone, it's got some kind of sign, you plug it in there and it tells you what that stands for. But it was excellent, and I commend that to you. And there are a couple of things there. I remembered a lot of people, Hal, that we knew. But I also didn't realize they did 5 separate historic significant events in this city's history. And so many of them were tied to the railroad. The railroad was a key part, that's why this city was established. And in World War II, we had maneuvers going on here, and many of our young men left here on the train to go off to train and go to war, and others came through here on their way and stopped at the bed and breakfast, got a meal. But it's really good, and I like history. And then the young man that portrayed Edsel Floyd did a wonderful job. He even sang. And Ed Burns, I don't think, he just sang one, like 4 lines. But Ed Burns, he didn't sound like Edsel, not Elvis, Edsel. But it's good, and I commend that to you if you get a chance. And I wanted to brag on those young people. We hear about our football teams and basketball and baseball and softball and volleyball, the things that are high profile, but these young people are very, very talented. And I think you'll enjoy it.
The concerts and the band is great too.
I didn't get to go Thursday night. Yeah.
They're really good, the kids are.
Yep, they sure are. And that's programs we didn't have here a few years ago. It's wonderful. All right, the thing I want to come back to is our holiday hours. We will be closed here. Christmas Eve is on Sunday, so we'll observe that on the 26th, and of course we'll take Christmas Day off. So when we leave here Friday, the office will be closed Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and we will return December 27th. New Year's Day is on the following Monday, and we will be off that day. The county is taking New Year's Eve off. I can't recommend that here because people who want to pay their taxes and get the income tax deduction for the 2023 year, the last day they'll have to do it will be December 29th, and I think we need to be open. What I will recommend to you is that we do a trade-off and we give our employees January 2nd so that they get the same amount of time as the county employees. They'll work Friday, the county will be off. Our people will be off on Tuesday while the county's working. But I don't like to close this time of year because of the taxes, and the other thing is, unfortunately, we have a water cutoff on December 28th, and people will come in and then pay what they should have paid before, and we need to cut them back on and not leave the water off for 3 or 4 days. So I'm going to recommend to you that we take January 2nd as a holiday. I'm going to ask Chief Hinderlight. This is not a scheduled holiday, and I didn't budget for it, so I'm going to ask you if you would to run just basically a skeleton crew that day, because we'll have to pay holiday pay that day. So I want to kind of limit our exposure there, but our employees will get that day paid, and those at work will get paid holiday pay plus their regular pay. So I'm going to recommend that to you. And if you so agree, we need to make a motion in a second. Okay, discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, that's all I have, so we'll go around the table. Hal, you first?
Haven't got anything.
Okay, Steve?
Well, we had got a copy of these ordinances tonight.
Yeah, that's not the ordinances, I'm glad you meant, that is the charter. That's our constitution. And there's no changes to it, but MTS sent that out 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've still got the actual ordinances there on my desk about that thick, and I haven't gotten through them all yet. Yeah, we ain't too far, I can tell you. But that's the charter of the city, and I think that one was approved by the legislature in 1937, I believe. Okay. Anything else? Good question. I will eventually get those ready. And I might do it over Christmas holidays, but there's a lot of bowl games on, so I might not. Miss Laura, we're glad to have you back with us. All right. Kyle? All right. Caleb? Big Christmas at your house? Pitter patter of little feet?
Yeah, 3-year-old and a 6-month-old, so it'll be fun.
Do what now?
So 3-month-old and a 6-month-old, so it'll be fun.
You're gonna have a great time. Miss April? All right, good. I appreciate y'all, I always say that, I mean, what you do for nothing. And, you're worth every penny of it. Now, I say that as a joke. When I speak somewhere, I always tell them, James, I'm the only mayor in the state of Tennessee getting paid what he's worth, and that's nothing. But appreciate y'all, appreciate everybody that's come out. We got several officers here, so I don't know if one of y'all's in trouble or not, but if it's take y'all in custody, please don't take the Mount Juliet mayor into custody. They need him down there. And
He drove through my grass.
do what?
He drove through my grass.
He did. Oh, that's a hang by the neck till dead offense up here. Yeah.
Just tell me what it is. I'm joking.
Oh, me. Well,
Before I make a motion to adjourn, now that the officer that just walked in, you're doing a fine job in the morning. Thank you very much for the traffic here at the high school.
Me?
Yes, sir. I really appreciate it. When Mr. Willis isn't there, I tend to see you, and we love Mr. Willis. He's a hard one to replace, but you've done a really great job, so thank you very much.
all right, we appreciate all you guys.
Now I make a motion whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All right, everybody say Merry Christmas and go home. Merry Christmas.